Hi everyone, Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Scorpio. That's Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon, Scorpio Rising for the month of March 2024. I originally thought March would be a little bit of a rest month, but the cards and a review of the astrology for the other 11 signs have me appreciate that March is again going to be an intense month, perhaps just intense in a different way. And we, of course, sort of come out of February, which was uh, highly intense, highly active, lots of moving parts, lots of power dynamics, power struggles, uh, just a lot of power moving around. And when powerful things happen, people can get hurt easily. Things change in ways that we don't expect, and we have to learn how to respond to that. So we're going to look at the astrology for you, Scorpio, and then we'll do a card reading. I'm using I'll be using the Modern Spellcasters deck for you. I think I used that last month as well. And the Mystic Sisters Oracle deck for Oracle pull. But let's look at the astrology first, because that is definitely very, very interesting. And there's a lot of energy in Pisces this month. And Pisces is a fellow water sign. So there's a lot of water energy in all right, let me bring this to you. Here we go. All right, let's get to Pisces. Let's get to Scorpio. Sorry, Pisces. Okay, here we go. Scorpio, I'm a damn Scorpio. Get it right, lady. Uh, Scorpio is fixed water. Your mantra is I desire. Anybody knows that, it's you. And your ruling planets are Mars and Pluto. Mars and Pluto. Now, Mars and Pluto just made a conjunction back in February in the first degree of Aquarius, and a lot of big shifts in power happened at that time. So that's interesting. Um, let's go and see what's going on. Now, this is the chart that I've sort of erected for the year. Um, and we're in an 8 vibration year. 2024 vibrates to an 8. 8 is a number of manifestation. It's a number of management. It's a number of organization. It's a number of prioritization. Very important that you prioritize this year. All of us, actually, not just you, Scorpio. I'm not picking on you. And it is a time when we um, energetically, this is located in the throat chakra. And so this is about expressing ourselves, finding our voice, expressing our truth. It is a Leo vibration. And for you, Leo is your 10th house of public standing. And so this really is putting yourself out there, highlighting yourself and your work and your leadership in the world, so to speak. All right, so we start the month on the 1st with a sextile between the Sun and Jupiter. The Sun and Jupiter are the two largest planetary bodies in our solar system. It's a very lucky combination. It is a waxing sextile, a waning sextile, so it is sharing what we know, what we understand. It has the underlying energy of Aquarius. And so with all the new Aquarius energy coming in January and February, this is sort of a continuation of that energy. And uh, if we take the hint, we will work towards the kind of world that we want to have, the kind of future that we want to see. That's really what these many of the sextiles that we're going to see this month are about: progressive thinking for the future, making the world a fairer and a more humanitarian situation. On the 3rd, Venus makes a last quarter square to Uranus. Venus in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius in your 4th house, Uranus in your 7th house, right? Yes. And so this is about relationship, and there can be a breakup in relationships. It could be a breakup from a family situation. Now, you can't really break up with your family, but you can you cannot be involved in the ways that you've been involved before. This is a last quarter square, so it's about freeing yourself from sort of the social expectation that sometimes we feel as part of a family, and so you can be uniquely who you are and free to be who you are. So it's challenging, but it's also it can be very positive. On the 4th, Mercury makes a waxing sextile to Uranus. Uh, Actually, Mercury makes a waning sextile to Uranus. I'm sorry, that was wrong. Again, we have these waning sextiles with the overlying energy of Aquarius. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. Mercury is the way we think, progressive thinking. Let's take the hint, guys. Take the hint. Let's walk in the direction of the future. How can we make the future better instead of reliving the past over and over again and beating each other in the head and bombing people into oblivion and starving people out? We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. Why are we doing that? These are the questions that come up in March. Mercury conjuncts Neptune on the 8th. Mercury likes lines. Mercury is the planet that helps us figure things out, take in the information, figure out what it means. Neptune tends to obfuscate, tends to fuzz things out, but it also makes us incredibly psychic. And so this is a good time for meditation. This day is a good meditation day. And meditate on peace, because the next day Mars makes a last quarter square to Uranus. And this is about action. And it's about action that's taken that's unexpected action. Again, this is a crisis in belief, a crisis in consciousness. It is a little bit dangerous, or a lot bit dangerous, so be careful out there on this day. On that day, the sun also makes a sextile to Uranus, opening up options for us, different ways of looking at things, out of the box solutions for perhaps things that don't seem solvable. Everything is solvable if we put our minds to it and we put our hearts to it. And Mercury ingresses into Aries. Now, Aries is your house of health. So you could be getting some messages about your health at this time. You definitely want to pay attention to those. On the second week, I call this the week of rest, but we may absolutely need it. Because we can't get out of bed, or it could just mean that this is a time when we can take a little bit of a breath. We have a new moon in Pisces. This is exciting. Pisces is your house of romance. So this is a time when a new romance can start to blossom. It's also the 5th house is your house of children and your house of creative self-expression. So this is a good time to start a creative project, with the new moon in Pisces. And on the same day, Mercury makes a waxing sextile to Pluto. Mercury and Pluto came together. It was either at the end of January, the beginning of February, at 1 degree of Aquarius. It had to go through the gauntlet of Pluto, and now it's at the sextile stage, which is the stage where we open the lines of communication with the soul itself, with the world soul itself, still in Aquarius, stays in Aquarius, except for a little time at the end of this year. It's going to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years, so we will get used to this Aquarius stuff. On the 11th, Venus ingresses into Pisces. Venus loves being in Pisces. That means Venus is in your house of romance and fun. So this can be an opportunity for some of that. So enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Week 3, we have the 17th, the sun conjunct Neptune, just like Mercury conjunct Neptune. And again, the same kind of deal. Neptune tends to fuzz things out, fog things up, and the sun likes to see things, and Neptune likes to hide things. But this is a very psychic time, and so this is a time when we can really sort of connect with the spiritual realms, and what we can't see with our eyes, we can certainly see with our inner eye. Okay, so utilize your intuition at this time. On the 19th, the sun moves into Aries. That means the beginning of spring here in the northern hemisphere. Yay! And fall in the southern hemisphere. It is a time when the light and the dark are equal. That only happens twice a year at the equinoxes. So we're at the vernal equinox if you're talking about the northern hemisphere, or the autumnal equinox if you're talking about the southern hemisphere. But it is a time of balance. It is a time when the light and dark are equal. And here in the northern hemisphere, the light starts to wax, and in the southern hemisphere, the light starts to wane. And so we're moving into a more extroverted sort of place up here on this side of the globe, whereas the southern hemisphere starts to get more introspective in its nature. On the 21st, we have the sun making a waxing sextile to Pluto. The sun and Pluto got together back on the 20th of January at 30 degrees of Capricorn, 2959 point something something, I'm sure, right at the very, very end of Capricorn. And so the sun was one of the few planets entered um, that entered Aquarius on the same day that it made a conjunction to Pluto, but made the conjunction in Capricorn. And all the other planets that had to make a conjunction to Pluto, it happens in Aquarius. So it's as if the people who were in charge are still in charge, but the intimations for everything else is about moving into the future. So we can see people who are in charge now, gonna sort of be in charge for a while. And I think by 2025, that's all shifted. So we'll see what that means. The sun ingress into Aries is your house of health. So watch your health. Things will be illuminated. Pay attention if you need something done or you need something attended to, do it. It's important. You'll see it. It'll be easily seen. It'll be easily seen in a way that maybe it hadn't been seen before. We have Venus conjunct Saturn on the same day as the Sun and Pluto make that waxing sextile. The waxing sextile between the Sun and Pluto opens the lines of communication to the soul. Okay, to the soul. Venus conjunct Saturn at 13 of Pisces. This is the start of a synodic cycle that can actually make something real. Venus is love and Saturn is reality. So the reality of love, or love becoming a reality. So which one is it, right? Which one is it? On the 22nd, Mars ingresses into Pisces, Mars ingressing into that house, that fifth house. Mars can be a little bit irritating generally as an energy. It's a catalytic energy. So depending, on what you're trying to start and the relationship you have with your self-expression and the relationship you have with your children and the relationship that you have with being out there, being a star, playing a role, will determine how you manage this. Mars really just needs to go with the flow. Mars in Pisces is go with the flow, and that's what I've said to everybody this month. And Mars is in Pisces about 6 weeks, so it's here in March. At the end of March, it's going to be in Pisces when we have the eclipse, the total eclipse in Aries of the sun, and Aries is a Mars rule sign. So there is this energy of Aries new beginnings, but we still have to deal with things from the past, Mars and Pisces. So we have things that we still have to work through. On the 24th, Venus makes a waxing sextile to Jupiter. Um, every planet that makes an aspect to Jupiter will shortly thereafter make an aspect to Uranus. And these waning sextiles help us to share what we know, share our knowledge. It's also moving us in a more progressive direction, a more humanitarian direction. And so Venus and Jupiter, Venus, it's an expansion of love. It's an expansion of what we value, what's important to us via, that expansive energy of Jupiter. And then we have an eclipse, and then we have Venus do that same thing to Uranus, which actually breaks us out of the limitation of Saturn and sort of breaks us into a whole new level of understanding around love and freedom and those things. And then in the middle, we have this full moon lunar eclipse at 6 degrees of Libra, very powerful. It's part of the eclipse cycle. The eclipse cycle is beginning. It is a north node eclipse cycle, meaning that the sun for all the eclipses is at the north node. So it's showing us the way. It's showing us the way forward. The full moon will often reveal something, and the moon will be in your house of your self-undoing, your 12th house. So pay attention, because you may be shown how not to do it anymore. So you don't undo yourself. And again, this is the axis of healing. So something that needs to be healed, whether it be an emotional healing or a physical healing or a mental healing or a financial healing, will be shown in that full moon. So pay attention to what comes up at that time. Well, that's the story for that. That is it, and it's quite a story, I have to say. It's quite a story for the month. Let's take a look. We're going to be doing a oracle pull, and using the Mystic Sisters. See what the Mystic Sisters have to offer for Scorpio. This is a deck that was developed by one of my favorite artists, Emily Bolivet. Some beautiful art. It's one of her Sage Goddess, I think. And we'll see what we pick for Scorpio. Is something going to come up for show me? Okay, this one. Thea. I'll show you the card. So, well, actually, I will show you the card. Let me do this. Otherwise, I'll have to pick it up, put it down, pick it up. Okay. Illumination and psychic visions. Didn't I say? Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the card. Look how beautiful this is. See if I can get it. There we go. Into focus. It says, Thea is the goddess of sight and heavenly light. Your intuitive insights is attempting to contact your conscious attention. Put to use your tools that will enable you to interpret these symbols, meditate and reflect. Try to recall your dreams by journaling. Some quiet solitude is in order. Thea is the goddess of the blue sky, and with intuitive gifts, with the blue, I'm sorry. Thea is the goddess of the blue sky, and with her gift of crystal clear vision, she reminds you of your intuitive gifts and how they must be attended to. I would wear some clear crystal if you have some, like maybe a crystal point or something around you. That will help to give you the clarity that you need for this month, the vision that you need. It'll just magnify it. It's like wearing glasses. Wearing a clear crystal is like just magnifying what's already there. All right. Let's take a look. Yeah, okay, good. This is the Modern Spellcasters deck. I love this deck. I love the art. It's just so cool. And it's so modern. All right, let's see, Scorpio. What do the cards say to you? This is a Pluto card, guys. Judgment. A decision has been made. You have risen from the dead. Something inevitable has happened. You've gone through the fires and risen up. Purified, cooked, challenge, love, relationship. This, how to relate, it's going to cause you to relate in a different way. If you're in a relationship, this awakening could change that. If you're not in a relationship, this could change that. At the root of it is strength. This is the card for the year, guys. This is the 8 vibration. So this is manifestation. You are manifesting. You are overcoming your baser nature and rising above it. That brings strength and power. Wow. I mean, look at this, honestly. I mean, how powerful. Oops, I'm gonna lose my cards here. How powerful is this? How powerful is that? So you're standing on your strength through your transformational process. A cycle has come to an end. This is the past. New beginning here, guys. New beginning. Something has passed away and now you're starting anew. It's interesting here that we have the 4 seasons. You see that? We have the 4 seasons. Oh. In the sky, the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords. This is in the sky is messages from spirit, I see. This is about getting your sword and going on your whatever it is that you're being sort of driven to do. Um, there's option. In the immediate future, we have the Hanged Man. So it doesn't look like you get to actually get out and go yet, because there's something you need to see from a different perspective. You need to see something from a different perspective. Okay. How it's seen from outside, the Lover's card, the card of choice. Your choices determine your destiny. Your domestic situation, yeah, there's some letting go that you need to do, some grieving. But then you still have these other 2 cups that you can build a life with. So there is some letting go. Perhaps this this card, this first card up with this, means that you've had to give up a relationship. You've had to give up a relationship. Hopes and fears, the Queen of Wands. This is a powerful woman. She looks like a Ukrainian princess to me, honestly. Hopes and fears. Am I strong enough? Am I committed enough? Am I wise enough? Am I loving enough? All the answers to that is yes. Outcome. We have the 4 of Swords. So so no movement this month. No movement. You don't have to go anywhere. This is in the sky. I'm not sure why that's in the sky, and everything else is saying to stay put. We have, I'm going to pick 3 more, see if I can get a major arcana. 3 of Pentacles. This is hearth and home and happiness and family. The 8 of Wands. This is messages coming in fast and furious. And this is the Hermit, shining your light. Who else got the Hermit? One of the other readings. I think it was Pisces got the Hermit. So it's about shining your light, but staying almost like staying hidden but shining your light. I don't know if that's even like that makes any sense to anybody. Underneath it all, we have the Nine of Swords, which can be anxiety, the Ten of Swords, which is the end, the utter downfall and end, and the Temperance card. So what I'm getting here is that you have awakened, you're doing what you need to do, but you can't be out there yet. It's not quite ready for you to be. You still need to have some healing and some balance before you can go out there, because this card, while it's very powerful and this person definitely believes in his purpose and where he's going, he can create a whole lot of chaos if he doesn't really think about the as you sow shall you reap, the consequences of his actions. So these cards are saying you're going through the healing process, but you're not quite ready to get out there and really sort of get on the road, or raise your sword and go to battle, because there's still some battles that you have to fight within yourself, and some things that you have to heal within yourself. But you're almost there. You've actually done most of the really hard work. Now there's just some residual things, and it seems like what you have to calm down the most is your mind. And any sort of anxiety or worst case scenario things that come up, that has to exit the old braino, like Drano. Sorry. All right. Well, that's the story for Scorpio. Don't shoot the messenger, Scorpio. The eye knows. All right, guys. Have yourself an interesting month, a good month, a lovely month, a loving month, a lucky month, a creative month, um, and a healing month. If you would like a reading with me, you can, I do offer those. I don't come to you and say, here, I'm offering you a reading. That doesn't happen. But if you want one, you can come to me, come to my website, theseedsoftransformation.com. There's a link below, and get a reading. It's I have an hour and a half. If it's your first time, I like the hour and a half. We go over a lot of stuff. People really enjoy them. And if you've had a reading with me, you can always have another one. You could do an hour and we could go over what's ahead. I mean, the first reading sort of lays the groundwork for your self-understanding, and readings after that help you directionally in a way. Excuse me. Or a deeper understanding of yourself. So that's always a cool thing to do. I do have openings, and they're filling up. So make yourself be one of those people that fill up the openings. All right, what else? Like and subscribe if you could. And I do have a Patreon page. I would like to get more information and more work out for you, but I do have to make sure that I can afford to do that. And one of the ways that I can afford to do that is if you become a patron. And so that's greatly appreciated if you can see yourself through that. I do teach everything I know. I teach astrology, I teach Kabbalah, and how I work with the tree of life. There's going to be a new introduction to the Kabbalah class coming out in May. So, but if you are a student of mine already, there are some other classes coming up that you may be interested in. You could check that out all on my website, and the link will be below. So have yourself a good month, and I'll see you again next month when things, well, more change ahead. All right, guys, take care. Much love. Namaste.